A's Extra.
Welcome back on the Anglers Extra pregame show. Chatham getting ready for Game 36 of the Cape League season, hosting the Brewster Whitecaps at Veterans Field. And it's time for the Manager's Show with the Chatham manager, Dennis Cook. I'm Jake Klein. Dennis, you fall 9-0 last night in Wareham. What were your takeaways?
Not competitive. At the plate, I thought we pitched good. Defensively, we stunk, and we stunk at the plate offensively.
What's been the difference between some of these clean defensive games and others that have been a struggle?
I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's just the kids are getting tired or lack of concentration, but it was not a good game defensively for us last night.
You had a long chat with the team after the game. What'd you tell them?
I'll just keep that amongst the team, but we need to finish the season out strong. So basically that.
Chatting with Dennis Cook on the Manager's Show. The A's fall to Wareham last night, but are back home today to take on the Brewster Whitecaps. Dennis, you give Will Girardi his first start. What have you seen from him in his first couple of appearances out of the bullpen?
Well, he's done good for us. He's coming in here off of a 100-inning season during his college season. So, we want to be careful with him and not overextend him too much, but we're hoping he can give us 3, possibly 4 if he can keep his pitch count down.
What's the plan after that?
JJ needs to pitch tonight, and then after that, we'll see where we're at.
I want to ask you about a theme that's occurred in the last couple of days. Outfielders have lost a couple of fly balls, kind of that twilight time of night. Anything there? What can be done to prevent that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I think I hadn't seen anybody else in the league do it. We've done it a few times, so hopefully it doesn't happen again, but I don't know what you can do about it.
There's been so much roster turnover on so many Cape League teams. When you get to the field and you talk with other Cape League managers, what have they had to say about it all?
Well, nobody likes the turnover. Nobody likes having to recruit players. We're up here to coach baseball, and it turns into being more of an administrative job of, trying to figure out your roster for the next couple days. Are we going to make it through this week? And hopefully there's something that the league can do to help us with that. But, nobody likes doing the administrative stuff and having to hustle players in the middle of a season.
If there was anything you could do, if you were in charge, what would you change about the format of the Cape League and the rosters?
I don't know. I've always said, have this season end by August 1st. And, if you say that, they look at you like you're talking, crazy. So I don't know. I just think if you could end the season a little bit earlier, it would give the guys the incentive to stay, because then that gives them 2 to 3 weeks before they have to go back to school and get themselves settled in.
What do you think are the pros of ending the season earlier? But that would also mean you're starting it earlier, right?
Well, you could start it a week early. We started on the 14th this year. It started a week early, and we have a ton of off days. Maybe not have off days. Maybe even have a double header every once in a while on Sundays. I still think you could get the games in and just and maybe not quite as many off days and start 3 or 4 days early.
How do you think college baseball players are different now than they were when you played at Texas?
Well, I just can tell you, whenever I went to Summer League, I went up to Alaska, and once I left home, I knew I wasn't coming home until the season was over. There was no, negotiating that. And if I did come home, I knew I would come home and have to go to work. So I'm not real sure that's the case these days, but I love playing baseball, and I would rather play baseball than go home and, do whatever kind of work I had to do till school started to make a little bit of money.
How has managing in the Cape League lived up to what you thought it would be?
I knew that the roster management was going to be an issue, but I didn't know it was going to be this much of an issue. I tried to put the roster together, maybe a little naively, with thoughts that our guys would stick around and stay. The young guys with not a lot of innings, and some of them have stuck around and gotten better. Some of them, left early for really no reason, and which is really, really disappointing. But hey, we'll remember that next year, and when they want to come back, we'll kindly decline and go with guys that want to stick around.
There's Dennis Cook on the Manager's Show. Chatham and Brewster coming right up. Dennis, thank you for the time.
Thank you.